the raspberries clogged up the airlock, and it actually managed to coat most of the room and the ceiling.
Oh.
I've seen
One
that.
was not amused. Yeah,
Raspberries are bad for that.
they are. But it made a lovely Hefeweizen. Which is like a German wheat beer for those not known to it. To go back to Manny's question, yes, we do make sizes. We've made 2 with the same apple juice. Both are essentially the same, but one's been aged in whiskey barrels. We got a great deal on whiskey barrels, as you can tell. And one was just plain. Now, the plain is a bit tannic and tart, and unfortunately went to 18% even on Lauven D47. So it stripped any residual sugar, which I was after, out of it. So it really needed back sweetening and stabilising, but it didn't get it. So it's one of those ones you sort of put aside and go, we'll see what it does in a year or so. But the barrel aged one, it got a good amount of sweetness from the whiskey, and that's ready to probably be bottled at the moment. Once I can actually get time to do it. So, yeah. We're going through in New South Wales the fun of implementing a container deposit scheme. So
that's all you've been talking about.
That's all I've been talking about, because it's consumed me. I've essentially had 6 weeks to get everything in order. Otherwise, we stop trading into the state that we're actually in. So,
and it has inspired his rancor.
It's inspired more than that, and I'm actually thinking I've been pretty good on how I've handled it. Yeah, and let's leave it there. But anyway, so yeah, that's due to come out. It's sat in the barrel for well over a year now, so it's mellowed quite nicely and picked up a good bit of whiskey profile as well. So, you know, the fun you can have with barrels. So, but yeah, that's been my only forays into cider.
I love that you're bringing a Jack Daniel's barrel all the way over from Kentucky. You know, that's pretty cool, and I can't even imagine what that must have cost in shipping. I mean,
where else are you going to get one, Vicky?
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm just surprised that he will do that. That's it's a pricey thing. What I meant was, an American bourbon barrel or a whiskey barrel, but Jack Daniel's barrels aren't cheap to begin with, and then to turn around and ship it halfway around the world. Did you just buy it its own airline seat? I mean, it'd be cheaper, right?
It would have actually been cheaper to take it as excess luggage, I think.
Yeah.
But it was bought in as part of a full container load, and it missed. So I'm in Sydney, or near Sydney. It bypassed Sydney and went to Adelaide with the rest of the container. So I'm now waiting for it to get shipped from Adelaide back to where I am, just outside of Sydney.
Which is close to saying that it went to California via New York.
Yeah,
oh, God.
That some of the flight patterns around here fly that way, so that doesn't surprise me.
Kind of how I got to the Mazer Cup last year.
Yeah.
Well, put it this way, I'm considering driving 2,000 kilometres down to pick it up and back again because I want this barrel. You know?
What, is it stuck in Adelaide?
Currently, it's stuck in Adelaide.
How does that...
Yeah.
How?
Well, the importer brought them into Adelaide and then had issues. So I'm waiting for him to sort out his issues so I can get it. Yeah. The fun of owning a meadery, you do all of these sort of things.
Oh, yeah.
When you go in on group buys and everything else.
And you can call it
So
work.
Is there a shortcut between Yarra and Adelaide, or you come and pay me a visit on the way?
I should do, because one of my biggest honey suppliers is just around the corner from you.
Yeah.
I'd have to four-wheel drive, and it would probably take way longer than actually going via Melbourne. And let's face it, why would I miss out on visiting all the places through Melbourne to get to Adelaide if I could help it? So.
Okay, we got another Chris Hodge question. Chris Hodge from California. And God, Chris, what is it about your... Thank you, Laughing Dragon. I wanted to say Laughing Leprechaun because there's another one called Laughing Leprechaun on the other side of the country. Oh, there are too many meaderies in this country. Okay.
Don't ever say that.
Was that out loud? I'm sorry. Anyway, Chris from Laughing Dragon Meadery in Los Angeles, California, is asking, do you ever filter before back sweetening, or is that process thrown out the window because it's a braggot?
That process is not there because it's a braggot. The braggots don't get filtered and they don't get back sweetened because you design to try and finish where you can. So we give ourselves a sweetness leeway of about 2 gravity points. So what's that? About 0.02 on the gravity scale. A range of where we want to finish in, which will help if the yeast decides to get a bit more ambitious than what it's planned to do. Plus, I kind of like the little bit of live yeast left in the bottle to help clean up some of the off flavours if they can be there. Almost like lagering in a sense. The filtering will work nicely, but you lose that effect of the yeast still working, even if they're not producing alcohol.
Okay.
And these days, while a crystal clear beer for competition is what the judges want, most of the educated drinkers these days know that a little bit of a haze is not a bad thing. So it makes it easier on the producers in that regard.
Well, there are whole multiple classes of beers here in the States that are hazy or outright just down, super down and dirty fuzzy that... And like you say, the drinkers are fine with it. I don't know what beer judges are asking for over here because I don't judge beer, but the drinkers don't seem to mind. I know that half the beers I buy that I really like, they're not clear.
Yeah, I wouldn't try and bottle carbonate one. I wouldn't ask the yeast to do that much because all our braggots are force carbonated. We're really just asking for a little bit of lagering or clean up from them. That whole New England IPA style looks like you've just emptied the bottom of the fermenter, like you've taken the yeast out of the fermenter.
Yeah.
And you may as well be using a soup spoon rather than drinking it. Is an interesting style and one where you plan to play with. But in the new year for that one, I think. I can see what they call them, a NEPA. So a NEPA B or a NEPA braggot coming through in the new year. Yeah, a New England IPA. So
okay,
if you take the initials, it's NEPA, and that's the style they're using for that. You've just washed all the yeast out of the bottom of your tank, sort of glass full.
Yeah, see, I don't get this phrase because I don't drink IPAs, so,
Okay, if you Google NEPA or New England IPA and look at the pictures, you'll see what I mean. They are, there's not a little bit of haze, you may as well be drinking the yeast sediment. Yuck. It's like a soup.
Yuck.
So,
Yuck.
well, it originated over there. It's a New
No,
England IPA.
I'm yucking the IPA thing, not necessarily the chewy beer, but just the IPA part of it, because yuck. I don't like IPAs.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, just don't. And there are plenty of other beers I do like, but IPAs are not one of them. And 99 beers and IPA ain't never going to be one.
That's fair enough. There's only one beer style that I can't actually... Well, two beer styles that I can't actually see making into a braggot. And that would be a cerveza and a lager, which are essentially the same sort of style, but I can't see anything there that would sustain a braggot. Because there's nothing there to start with as a beer. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but a cerveza and a lager, the whole thing is a clean fermentation, very little malt taste, some hops in a lager, none in a cerveza. If you add honey to that, all you're getting, there's nothing to balance it. There's nothing from the beer side to balance the honey. And I'm happy to be corrected on this because I'm sure someone's doing it, but I just can't see it. I can't see it working.
No, I can't either. I mean, yeah. Braggots seem to lend themselves better to bigger beer styles from what I've seen. And, the braggots that my friends and the pros are making. Is that the bigger the beer, the more likely it will be to be braggotized.
Well, I've got one planning in my head, which is a barley wine braggot, but I'd like to try and bring it in at about 20 to 22% ABV.
Good.
Because let's face it, a barley wine sits anywhere between 12 and 16% ABV as it stands. To make it into a braggot, I want to put that extra punch onto it. I could see that sitting at about the 20 to 22%. It would need to be seriously aged, just to take away the hot alcohol. But 2 years sitting in the bottle or sitting in a barrel or something like that would do it wonders. It's a long time to hold on to a product, but
that's that's a special edition or limited reserve or whatever you want to call it. And you just double the price, and then people will snap it up. You double the price, and you have the size of the bottle, and people will snap it up.
That's why you're in marketing and I'm running a meadery.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, it does work too. I mean, granted, the mead better be damn good, but it does work. I mean, Utopia number 9, Moonlight, 375s. It's like $90 a bottle, and people bought it so fast that you had better have your finger on the button when they release. Wow. Yeah. Heart of Darkness, 500 ml bottles, very limited release, $170 a bottle.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes me wow every time as well.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the primary market. Then there are the people who buy it and then turn around and sell it for $2,000 to $3,000 a bottle. And I shit you not on that one.
What?
Oh, yeah.
How are you able to resell it?
The mead secondary market, I mean, think about it. Okay, so here you are, and you're like a total Heart of Darkness, like, oh my God, I've got to have that. There's 300 bottles that sell. People literally line up outside Shram's Mead like there's an Apple release going on, okay? It looks like they're trying to get Rolling Stones front row seats. It's ridiculous. And they say they camp out overnight to get these releases.
Yeah, I've seen photos.
They're literally, the last release they did was gone in 67 minutes.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And, I mean, granted, can makes, if you've had the Heart of Darkness, and Steve, I don't know if you have, but Hamish has had it, and so has AJ. And it's bloody good.
No hope with that.
It is bloody good mead. Well, it might be if you could sweet talk Hamish, especially if I route him through Detroit on his trip over here.
What I'm worried about is what Hamish is going to charge me for lining up overnight to get me a bottle.
Oh, we wouldn't have to line up overnight because we might be able to snag a bottle somewhere along the line, you know.
But would it actually make it here?
Well, that's something you'll have to speak with Hamish about.
Yes.